Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nicky Adharini. I'm 17 years old, and I was fortunate enough to grow up in a times where people encourage my dreams, where I can do anything I want, where I can live anywhere I want, but not for our future generations. Because you know what? The current situation of our future is uncertain. Because probably they don't have even any future for them. And this happens, why? Because in the future, the sea level is going to rise. Because the forest will be an empty wasteland, because the melting ice will flood our coast, and millions of people will forced to leave their house. And this is the future that waits for us if we don't do anything to solve the climate issue problems. Ladies and gentlemen, and also that's the reason I'm standing here in front of you today to talk on behalf of our future generation. I am as a representation of our future generation that asking for your help to reduce this climate change. Do you know that you lied to us? You lied to the future generation. You said the future was bright, but what we have now? Why no one acts like we are in the middle of the crisis when we are in the middle of the crisis? Why there's no urgent meeting, there's no restriction, there's no urgent, there's nothing at all. And our future and meanwhile what we find is that our future was sold to people, to a small number of people who can make unimaginable amounts of money by burning fossil fuels. But on the other side, people are suffering. The entire ecosystem are collapsing. We are in the beginning of the mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you to do that? For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you say that you already do enough when there's no policy and solution needed are still nowhere in sight? You said you hear us. You say that you understand the urgency of this thing, but no matter how sad or angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understand me, if you really understand the situation, and you still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe. But let's pause for a moment and think about the consequence of our action. Imagine the world a few decades from now if we continue down this path. The lush green forest that once provide us oxygen and shelter for countless species will be barren. The beautiful coastal city we admire today will be underwater. Food and water, the basic necessity of our life, will become scarce, leading to conflict and wars. The wildlife, which brings so much joy and balance to our ecosystem, will be gone, and with it, the delicate balance of nature. How can we, in good conscience, pass this world onto our children and grandchildren? How can we look them in the eyes and see that we did nothing while we still had chance to act? This is not just about saving the environment, it's about ensuring a livable future for all of us. The technology and knowledge to combat climate change are within our grasp. Renewable energy sources like wind, solar, and hydroelectric powers can replace fossil fuels. Energy efficiency can reduce our consumption. Sustainable agriculture can ensure food security without harming the planet. We know what needs to be done, yet we hesitate. Why? Because it requires change. It requires sacrifice. It requires prioritizing our planet rather than profits. And it also became much more harder to do because that future was sold to the small number of people who can make unimaginable amounts of money by burning fossil fuels while sacrificing our life. But what is the cost of inaction? It is far greater than the cost of taking action. It is the loss of our biodiversity, the loss of our human life, the loss of our future. We must shift our perspective from short-term gains to long-term sustainability. We must act not out of fear, but out of hope and responsibility. Young people around the world are raising their voices, demanding action and holding leaders accountable. We are informed, we are passionate, and we are relentless. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. If you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you. We will not let you get away with this. Right here, right now, is where we draw the line to finish this issue. The world is waking up and change is coming whether you like it or not. So there's nothing that we can do except we must to fix this issue and do a real action. Thank you.